Yo, 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 yo. If you haven't already, go check out I have a longer video that breaks down a bunch of other ideas. It's called Why I'm Bullish on AMC next week. Okay. So go check that out. That's like the weekend video. You gotta check that one out. But I wanted to compartmentalize a few other ideas, talk about them a little bit more specifically, um, and not talk too much about everything all at once that I'm looking at, right? So this is going to be the Wyckoff video, okay? This is where we talk about all the Wyckoff possibilities that we're looking at. We don't look at patterns or anything like that for now, okay? The bigger video, you'll look at the patterns and stuff. We're going to look at mainly volume and look at it from a Wyckoff perspective here, okay? So what we've talked about on this channel for months now is the potential that we are in a Wyckoff accumulation pattern, like you see here in the bottom of your screen. And basically look at it from this perspective, okay? Now, this is just a schematic that you're looking at, okay? It's not like a Bible, okay? It doesn't have to follow it exactly. It's more what's the idea, right? What's happening that's causing this, right? Which is we're talking about accumulation. In Wyckoff theory, if you're not familiar with it, you have accumulation and distribution. Basically, the institution or the composite operator or composite man, as we like to call him on this channel, which is what he's called. He accumulates shares, and you can see an example of this if you zoom into this section of the chart for sure. He accumulates shares with the intent to distribute them, okay? So basically, a lot of times what you're going to see is this sort of obviously mostly downward price action, and this like rounded bottom is going to start to form. And I think that actually this is like the main pattern. Like there's more like patterns are born out of this, right? So this is like a cup and handle, right? No doubt, cup and handle. But it's actually a Wyckoff accumulation, like you see in the bottom of your screen, right? And basically what's happening is big money, smart money, is buying shares with the intent to distribute. Okay, they're accumulating with the intent to distribute so that then they can gain liquidity. Okay, and this is a distribution, just an example. If I go on lower time frames, it's a little bit easier to see. The 3-hour chart, who looks at that? Yeah, so you look at this section of the chart. I did that thing with my volume where I put it in the okay, so you can see here that you have the buying climax, automatic reaction, sell test. You have your up thrust after distribution is what I would call this up here. You go down here to your LPSY, and then you get sent down right back to where you came from, all right? That's what happens a lot of times. Usually it's not going to be like right back to where you came from. You'll be able to measure it somehow, Fibonacci, right? So you kind of round it out at this 0.885. You establish a new uptrend. But yeah, and then you have another accumulation here, a distribution, an accumulation, a distribution. So they happen within each other. But I think that on the more macro scale, this is an accumulation. Ooh, that was a really long-winded way to explain that. A Dave special. All right. So I think that you have a larger scale accumulation that's occurring. And within that accumulation, I think that this is a smaller accumulation that's occurring. We've talked about this for a while. Now, there are a few different ways that you can look at this. To me, the volume is very important because it tells us, in my opinion, that in this section of the chart for sure, there's been a lot more buying pressure than there's been selling pressure as of late. Okay, I'm not saying that that means that 100%, institutions are loading the boat and no matter what, this thing's going to the moon. Okay, because there are a few different ways that you can look at this. But I think that at least for now, the way that I've been looking at the chart, ever since we kind of broke this $24, $25 region up here, we broke this and broke down like this, is, let me pull up that accumulation schematic again so you can see it while I'm doing this, is that this was a sell test or a sell test in phase B, okay? And then you have this phase B distribution, And then what I was saying could happen is you could break down to this 1950-ish region, and then that would be a local spring, okay, in this shorter term accumulation. And that's what you did. And the reason that I said 1950, by the way, I'm not a wizard. I used Fibonacci. I just measured from the bottom to the top here. And so I measured from the bottom of the buy button collapse to the top of the $72 run. And then you get this 786 right here, which is $19.66. Also, if you put this on log scale, it's good to check both. I always check both, especially when it comes to like longer term. You know, if I'm looking at a longer term chart, investment, trade, whatever, however you want to see it. It was also the 0.5 with log scale turned on, okay? And log scale turned on, I always chart in log. So it is probably more appropriate for me to use log scale on my Fibonacci, but I noticed that without log scale it works as well. But we don't want to talk about that too much because we're talking about Wyckoff right now. So what's the other possibilities? All right, so the other possibilities now, with the information that we have now, because it changes, okay, by the way. Because I know I'm going to get shit for this because people are going to say, you said this and that, right? Things change, okay? We said, hey, I think this could be a phase B distribution. And if that's the case, then I think that you could make a lower low down to like 1950. That was my conviction, okay? Now we're here. You have the full context of the chart. And again, watch the other video to see why I'm bullish because this is, you're going to think, oh, you know, he's being bearish again, whatever. This is just another interpretation of how I'm looking at the chart now and how I'm seeing it, okay? Don't be so sensitive. It's okay. I know I'm being sensitive right now. I know. But basically, oh, let me put that back up, actually. If you look at that schematic that I have right up there on the screen, you can see there is a situation where you actually have a sell test in phase B, okay? What does that mean? Well, what that could mean is that this was a test of liquidity below the trading range, okay? But it actually established a new bottom of the trading range, right? Hold on, let me get my box out. Fine. All right. So now this becomes the bottom of your trading range. I kind of like this. Yeah. This being the sell climax, or even this. You really could just draw it like this. I know Jin Colado is gonna come in and tell me and tell everybody that I stole liquidity zones from him. I'm just fucking with you, dude. Dude, don't take me out of I love that guy. It's a joke. I've been recording videos for like an hour now, okay? So I'm kind of getting, I guess, delirious or something, all right? But hear me out, okay? Sell climax, automatic reaction, sell test. This is that shorter term distribution right there, right? So now this could be the top of your trading range. Make it look nice and fancy and even, okay? This is the top of your trading range now. Make this red too because it's resistance. La resistance. And now what you're doing, what you could do, I think dude, I just have a hard time. And I just watched Tyler Wilson's video and I was saying, yeah, check out his videos. Because he's going to be talking about the options chain with AMC and stuff like that. I watched his most recent video. This dude's hella bearish and I'm like bullish as shit for, not bearish on AMC, him specifically, but he's like bearish on markets in general. And I'm actually bullish as shit on markets next week. So one of us is going to be wrong. But anyway, I really don't see you going down immediately. I think that regardless, the play is to the upside. Now, am I saying 35 next week? No, I'm not saying that necessarily. I mean, it's possible, but I'm not saying it 100%, okay? But you could see a move like this. Okay? This is just me being honest. I'm not trying to be, you know, a bear or whatever. And then eventually you could have another run down to break the bottom of this trading range. A spring, a test. Like this. Yes, it's the spring within the spring within the spring of the spring. Yes, all those jokes that you like to make, okay? But it's very realistic. It's very possible, okay? So where would the bottom of this be? So I mean, or you could go straight down, right? Phase B, sent straight down, right? You could just do that and have your spring quick, fast, and in a hurry. Boom, 1750 or something like this, right? I'm just giving you analysis. Watch the other video to get a better idea of how I feel overall about it. I think you go up next week. I think you go up. I think 30. I think 25 plus is definitely a great possibility, and because of the options chain, I think you could get pushed a lot harder than people might be expecting. So then, what are some of the next levels? Maybe we should make another video about that. Nah, fuck it, I'll just do it here, and then maybe we'll just do a whole Fibonacci video too. But remember, we have talked about in the past, you could float above this 618 the same way that you did back when the buy button was taken away. Now, I do think that that would be some sort of cataclysmic, crazy event, okay? I mean, look, you hit your 0.5. Maybe that's what you do. You just hang below your 0.5 on this, and you're good to go. Oh, you know what? I got to measure this using the pre-market high. That's what's messing me up. Like $25. We'll just roughly do it, okay? But see how you broke below the 0.5 and you kind of hung above this 618 level, the Fibonacci, the $5.10? A similar move, if you measure from the whole bottom to the whole top, right, would be, and I'm literally just drawing this as an example. If you were to come down to like this 15 something range, okay? And then I think I do have a fib for 17 as well. Obviously, everybody in the world has talked about this gap fill, right, forever. So what is this, $16.63? I do have a fib, though. You have a fib that's 7. Yeah, so here you go. Like, that's a good one. 707, $16.69. I think I have a better one, though, that I've seen before. But I can't think of. I got it. Yeah, see, look, 786, when you measure from this bottom right before the run up, you have the 786 at $17.73. So, look, if you do that, I think if you go to 1773, I think you go to 1663, like no matter what, 100%. Like that's like I am not a gambling man, but I would be willing to bet on that. But anyway, in my opinion, I am mostly bullish though, okay? Short term, I am mostly bullish. I think you see a move up. Now, once we have that move up, we get the volume that's associated with it, we get a better idea. If you get higher highs on volume, right? If you get days with more, if you get green days with more than this 144 million in volume, if you get 150, 200 million in volume on a swing up here, okay, that is very bullish. When you're up here, if you're up here in this $32 range and you're getting that sort of volume on a higher high than this candle right here. See this right here? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wrong tool. If you break a higher than $30.80, okay? You're higher than $30.80. And volume is like 200 million on that daily candle, and you make a higher high, whew, man, oh man, you might think that what percentage is that? Like if that just happened tomorrow, you might think 60% or whatever is bullish, but you're going to like crazy town if that happens next week, okay? Because that is just a clear sign of strength. High volume event. You're going to come back, you're going to bounce off of this, and you are just going to go nuts. Absolutely crazy. Because the open interest on options, especially out of the money options, you have a lot of calls in the money, but you have a lot of them that are out of the money too, and the open interest is insane next week. If that happens, if you have that sort of break, I mean, it's gonna go absolutely bananas. Banana sandwich. Okay, which I wouldn't eat, but I mean, maybe if you had like peanut butter on it or something, that was kind of your vibe after the gym or something. But yeah, so that's basically it. That's like the Wyckoff analysis. That's like the full breakdown of all the things that I see happening in the short term. We did talk about redistribution. We'll briefly cover that. Okay. Redistribution on AMC stock. Let me say AMC stock a few times and see if it helps the algorithm. AMC stock, AMC stock, AMC. I'm just kidding. It actually does though. It makes the video more relevant if you say like keywords a lot. Isn't that weird? But yeah, so you could see redistribution. Let me look at OBV. That's gonna be important, right? The OBV. So yesterday, I watched the video yesterday. Were you studying yesterday? Did you watch the video yet? Yeah, we said, look, you got to hold this trend line. We did. Look, yeah, man. Woo! Next week is a big deal, dude. I know market is closed Monday. Tuesday, you need to hold this daily OBV trend. You got green. You added to OBV. That's bullish. People are gonna people who use OBV, they're gonna look at the chart and say, oh, okay, you held your OBV trend. You didn't just break down out of it, because today was okay volume. It wasn't great, but it was okay, and you held it green, so that's good. Let's look at this. Yeah, I don't know. You don't really have a trend to speak of here. You had, like Tyler was talking about, you had a pretty nasty breakdown out of this rising wedge that was occurring in OBV. Really disgusting breakdown, obviously. That's terrible. But on the bright side, you have more on balance volume today than you had back here in October when the price was $35, or just as much volume. And back here, the price was as high as $42. You have just as much on balance volume. Okay, so generally speaking, even though this breakdown was really bad, still overall, OBV is in a pretty steep uptrend, right? Healthy uptrend, as price is in a deep downtrend. So that's good. But yeah, you got to maintain that. I think the daily OBV is your best bullish OBV right now. You gotta be watching that. Keep track of it. For sure. If you're the type of person that's sitting there, doing your own charts, which I think everybody should be doing, that's watching TA channels. I think you should be trying to do your own charts and teach yourself some of these little tricks and shit. Yeah, you have an uptrend in OBV and a downtrend in price, which is OBV divergence. Which, just look into that. Look at and then we talked about the falling wedge that we mapped out here, and we've been watching this edge, but basic format of that. And there's a few different ways that you can look at it. You can actually make it much softening price to the downside. So I'm optimistic going into next week. I could be completely wrong, but that's just my kind of thing right now. That's where I'm at with it. I think SPY gets a bounce off of this trend line at the bottom here. I think eventually it gets absolutely trashed at some point this year, or like going into next year, like, because this is a rising wedge. But I think you see this kind of upward price action the rest of the month, and then maybe you squeeze into this pretty tight until April or May, and then you could see pretty nasty things could come out of this. Or, say you have like a crazy rally here, you bounce off of this thing here, you could go all the way into, like, what is this, July? You could climb all the way to the end of the year, and then very bad things could occur. But yeah, I think regardless, SPY needs major correction. It's gonna get it, but in the short term, AMC, SPY is gonna get its run up, in my opinion, next week. That's bullish for AMC, because I think that SPY taking the pressure off of AMC that it's put on it the past week or so, as SPY's been having these big red days. SPY comes out, has green days. I can't do it by myself. Why have I never done that before? That's so perfect. You're sitting here, you're talking about Green Days. Why have I never just broken into singing Green Day before? Dude, that was awesome. I love that so much. Anyway, Spy starts to have green days. You American, yeah. In America. Dude, I gotta brush up on my Green Day because then, dude, this is a great opportunity to just drop this meme in the middle of videos. Oh my goodness, dude. Oh my goodness, that is so funny to me. Hopefully, you guys got a little. Hopefully, you got a little. Somebody out there laughed at this. There might be a bunch of you that are cringing, but somebody out there laughed, and you there laughing, you're making it all worth it right now. Anyway, yeah, if you have the green, you have if you have bullish price action on SPY in the short term, going into next week, the situation that AMC is currently in, it is good for AMC because that can cause AMC to get just a little bit of juice. If it gets just a little bit of juice and puts a little bit more calls in the money, this chart does have a very, a possible way to look at it and see really big green candles. That is definitely a possibility. And we've talked about the downside possibilities. Maybe I'll make a video that is specifically about downside, which is red days, not green days. Warning, there without warning. Okay. All right, I'm done with this video. This video was not supposed to be 20 minutes long. But all right, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. I know that we started off talking about Wyckoff. I said I wasn't going to talk about anything else, and then I talked about a bunch of other things, and I even started singing old Green Day songs when I haven't listened to Green Day in at least 5 years. But hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, there will be other videos this weekend, so just make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on and stuff like that. All right, peace. Caution, police line, better not cross. It's a really dangerous.